Can you rule out an American ground invasion?
I don't want to rule in or out. I don't talk about it. Why would I talk to you, an extremely unfriendly publication, if you want to call it, Politico, that got $8 million from Obama to keep it afloat? Why would I do that? Why would I talk about that to Politico? I mean, I'm doing this because you picked me as a man for your... I thought it was appropriate.
Transparency for their American people, because a lot of folks are, people are wondering
I am the most transparent politician maybe in the world.
A lot of folks are wondering what our goals are in
Venezuela.
But
I don't want to talk to you about military strategy.
So let's keep that conversation going now. Joining us is our US analyst, Michael Ware. So let's start off with Hegseth and these fresh comments, Michael. Is this all about putting up a wall of protection around the admiral, his admiral, who ordered that second strike?
Well, one could argue that the Secretary of Defense, or under President Trump, the Secretary of War, is actually selling out that Special Forces admiral by saying, oh, I had nothing to do with it. It was all him. Now, what the Secretary has said as of yesterday would fit within the picture that, look, the Department of Defense, the Secretary would have given written and clear orders within certain broad confines. And effectively what he's saying is, I may not have been called to ask about that second strike, but what I'm saying to you is that the admiral in charge was still operating within the parameters of the orders that I gave him, and I would have done the same thing. Now, that's despite Democrats on the Hill from the Armed Services Committee who say that they've reviewed footage of that second strike, and in that second strike, you can see people struggling to get back on the boat. They don't have radio comms. They don't have weapons. Allegedly, they may have even waved to the Americans asking for help before the strike. And to tell you, honestly, is that the behind the scenes, what's really going on here is that there is a grander movement within the MAGA or President Trump's defense policy to put a new and much more aggressive emphasis on the Western Hemisphere, meaning South America and Central America. They've made defending America's border the #1 security of the entire US Defense Force. And they would argue that these strikes, legal, not legal, questionable, not questionable, are in furtherance of that aim of defending the American border.
You got a lot of pushback, some strong pushback from people over this too, Michael, who are saying, like, who cares? They were coming into America to sell drugs that Americans are hooked on. Do you think that's making much headway?
Oh, look, this is always the argument about war. Whether we're fighting Arabs in the desert or whether we're fighting South Vietnamese in the 60s in Southeast Asia, they're the bad guys. Who cares? So what if we kill a few? So what if we stray across the lines into questionable war crimes? For me, as I found in Iraq, where I experienced this ethical dilemma day after day in real time, the minute we start giving in to our enemy and their rules, whether it's the Islamic State or whether it's narco-terrorists, then we start to lose. We don't just lose the moral high ground, we lose our own sense of self and our own sense of judgment. One of the problems here for the Secretary of Defense, Hegseth, is that this is the September 2 strike. Now, it was 40 minutes between first and second strikes, as we believe. So, of course, he would have been off the phone onto something else. So, possibly, yeah, the strike was called in without his authorization. But what's the difference between that strike and a strike 6 weeks later in the Pacific coast of Colombia, where we did see some survivors? We went in, we rescued them, and then, without detaining them as potential narco traffickers, we returned them to their home countries. What happened in those 6 weeks? But the bigger point is that all of this is a broader reflection. These are the piercing points, the tip of the spear of a broader Trump shift towards South America and Latin America. Does that cost us in Asia? We'll see.
But I mean, if these cartels are designated as terror groups or terror organisations, then I mean that's cover, isn't it, to take them out in boats, because then they'd be regarded as terrorists.
No.
Nope.
No. It's either murder or it's a war crime. Even against terrorists, we follow the laws of war. We follow our own rules of engagement. There's the uniform code of military law. And no matter how you look at it, just because you call them terrorists, narco-terrorists, whether you call them anything, any enemy who is defenseless, who's potentially surrendering, who no longer poses a threat, you can't just execute them.
Okay. Michael, we will leave it there. Good to see you though, as always. We'll chat to you again next week.